Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We're back with the Ted Show. A musical guest. You know how much I love anybody who's got talent and can sing and perform and play instruments and write music and all of the amazing things that these two young ladies do. So we have Briana Domenica on the show and Sarah Taylor Young. We're going to talk about The Warrior and Me. We're going to talk about music, collaboration, pivoting in 2020, the music biz. So many questions, by the way, before we went live about the music biz and how you guys broke in and what you're doing different. And we'll get to all of that. Welcome. How you guys doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for having us on, Ted. We so appreciate the support.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm excited. You know, sometimes if you've ever tried to get on the show before, it can be a little bit of a challenge with all of our technology, and you had weather issues, I had weather issues. We all have to figure out how to pivot and maneuver around the stuff we're thrown. You guys did a great job. So the audience loves origin story, which I told you before we went live. They want to get to know you a little bit. So tell us a little bit about you, your background, and then maybe your journey to making music your vocation, your career, what you're doing. So tell us a little bit.
Sure. Well, I'm Briana Domenica. I'm a contemporary Christian singer and songwriter. And I was actually raised in South Florida in the Lighthouse Point area.
Beautiful.
And moved to Nashville. Going to be 3 years ago 3 years ago this August. And I have been singing since I was in diapers, although I don't know if you would call it singing back then. It was more like squawking. But I've always loved music. My parents always had music playing in the house, whether it was Andrea Bocelli, Sarah Brightman, Whitney, Michael Jackson, Andrew Lloyd Webber. We just always had music playing. So from a young age, I always had such a love and appreciation for it. And then it really became something I wanted to pursue as a career after I lost my oldest brother to the choice of suicide back in 2007. That tragedy reminded me that life is short and I want to live out my dreams. And he always encouraged my music and was my biggest fan. And so this is how I want to honor him, by doing what I love.
It's beautiful. I'm sorry, by the way. Very sorry. How about you, Sarah?
What was the question again? I apologize.
You don't have to apologize. Let's hope I remember the question. It is Friday afternoon, ladies. So tell us or people love origin stories. So they want to know about you and maybe your journey to be here as a musician, because a lot of people, they sang in front of their parents, but then they don't really pursue it as they get older.
Yeah, so my journey has had a lot of hills and valleys. I've always been musically inclined. My dad was a Nashville songwriter back in the day, and I come from a broken home. And when I was younger, I was told that my broken home was because of the music industry. So as I got older, I decided I'm going to stay as far away from that as possible, because I wanted to be a mom, and I wanted to be successful at doing that. But I kid you not, 7 months pregnant with my daughter, I get this stirring in my spirit. Linda Davis was singing "I Have Arrived."
Nice.
And I had seen her perform that before live when I was a teenager. And I felt like the Holy Spirit was just saying, you need to make an album. You need to pursue this. Remember that dream you tried to pursue? You need to do that. And I'm just like, well, I'm 7 months pregnant. I'm about to have a baby. Like, you're talking to the wrong person here. Okay, go talk to somebody else who's like 20 or something. So it was then I really decided to commit to it. And honestly, music and making that first album was what helped me with my postpartum issues, because I did have a lot of postpartum anxiety. So that music journey took the focus off of being so perfect for my daughter and doing something else.
I love that. Very good. So you guys have stories. I think people love to hear the stories because they can relate. Somebody lost someone to suicide, and postpartum has been a big discussion on the show many times. It's such a misunderstood part of everything, and so we're only just learning. And so a lot of times people just they dive into whatever they love, and your passion, both of you, is music. So how did you come together? How did you all come together? How do you know each other, and how did that relationship bond?
Well, we met through our mutual mentor, Sharice Spaltori, and Sarah is wanting to start an outreach program, which Cherie helped me get mine off the ground until COVID came along, and now I can't tour. Right. But up until then, Cherie had mentored me to get my suicide prevention program up and running, and was like, well, I have a new member, Sarah, and she's kind of wanting to do the same thing, but a different cause. She wants to do the domestic violence side of things. And I'm like, oh, sure. And so we met and become fast friends and collaborators. And
well, we actually were co-writing a song.
That's true.
For my record that'll be out.
Well, it was actually meant for me.
Yeah, it was meant for Briana.
We were writing it for me.
Yeah.
And I just didn't, it was a beautiful song, but it just didn't feel like me. Like, as songwriters, songs speak to you. Yeah. They really do. And this song it was a beautiful song, but it wasn't speaking to my soul. And Sarah called me up and she's like, I'm getting ready to cut my record. Is there, how would you feel if I cut How Was I to Know? Which, if people aren't in the music industry and don't know what I mean by cut, it just means record. Right. So Sarah's like, do you mind if I cut How Was I to Know? I said, actually, I was kind of going to call you and tell you I think this song is meant for you, not me. And so we were both kind of feeling that at the same time. And so she ended up cutting it, and it is so beautiful. So that'll be coming out soon. Love it. So we're excited about that. And then we, worked on each other, I helped her with her ministry. Yes. And we just became fast friends and collaborators.
Yeah, she actually comes over to my house once a month and sings on my worship team, and it's an hour away, so she comes and spends the night. My daughter loves it. She thinks she's there to play with her.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
So tell me about the collaboration process during 2020. We have a lot of artists that everything got crazy, so you had to pivot, you had to shift. You had to figure out, okay, I'm not performing anymore live, or at least in front of an audience anyway. What do I do? So how did you all pivot and shift?
God bless you.
Bless you.
For me, COVID hit at like the worst time for me. I had just finished crafting my live show to go out into the schools and churches, my suicide prevention program, my Warrior in Me tour, and we go on lockdown. And I'm like, but people need this suicide prevention message more than ever right now with the isolation, the lockdown, just everything that is going on in these times. And I'm like, how am I going to get this message to people when we're locked down? I can't leave my house. So I came up with an online video series that we have finished. It's edited. It is ready to go. We are just working on how we're going to get it to people, because it was initially meant to be like a DVD and workbook series that we would charge schools and churches for. But having talked to people are like, no, I need this for me. But again, like the school and church price was going to be a lot more expensive than like an average person was willing to pay. So we're trying to figure out a way to make it cost effective and available to everyone. But that video series is going to be coming out super, super soon. And I am very proud of it. And just trying to be creative and figure out new ways to do things. I know Sarah does a lot of Facebook Lives. I am not great on social media with like live
You're
performances and
very
stuff like
good,
that.
though. Look at
Yeah.
you. You're a natural. I don't know why you're like, I knew you were going to say, I don't know why I knew you were going to say that, but you're a natural on camera.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't trust the lives. I'm like, I'll do, I do the podcast and whatever,
Yeah.
but I'm like, if I have to like run things at either than just like click the login button, then things get a little hairy. So
You've not driven with Briana Domenica. I had that
love
first
it.
experience today. It was quite an adventure.
You know what? I love your camaraderie too. I'm a big, we do a lot of work with suicide prevention. So, and suicide awareness and just trying to get that out there. So kudos to you for making that, your testament, your testimony for what you went through. It's incredibly painful. And so big kudos to you. Let's talk about the music. So what are you going to perform for us today? And give us a little background.
Sure. I am going to be performing 2 songs for you guys today. The first is the first single I released after moving to Nashville. It's called Invisible, which was produced by Wayne Hood in South Florida, actually. And then it was co-written with Grammy-nominated writer Nathan Woodard. And I just love this song. I feel like it's just such a beautiful song because I feel like most people, when they're having those suicidal thoughts, they feel invisible. And you're not. There is a God who sees you, knows you, and loves you. And I feel like this song really gets that message across.
I love it. I'm gonna remove myself. We'll come back for the second song, obviously.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you front and center. I'm still here. So, all right, let's do it. I'm very excited for the song.
I know that place that you're living in. I've heard those lies that you believe. I know the feeling of being broken, surrounded by a world you wanna leave. Feel all alone in a crowded room. There's a God above who sees what you're going through. You're not invisible. You're not invisible. You are worthy. You are loved. You are more than enough. When you're so afraid, hope seems far away. Look inside and find your faith unshakable. You're not invisible. Be still and know just who you are. God says you're wonderfully made. He knows your name and sees your heart. Nothing about you he would change. Feel all alone in a crowded room. Just trust that God is there with you. not invisible. You are worthy, you are loved, you are more than enough. When you're so afraid, hope seems far away. Look inside and find your faith unshakable. You're not invisible. No, not invisible. You are worthy, you are loved, you are more than enough. When you're so afraid, hope seems far away. Look inside and find your faith unshakable. Look inside and find your faith unshakable. You're not invisible. Oh,
Just so beautiful.
oh, thank you.
The words, I think the words are what, obviously. Is it hard for you to sing that? Do you get all I thought about the entire time was your story, the basics of it, what you shared. So if I was in it and meshed in it like you are, I would imagine that singing that song must really bring out some deep emotions as you sing.
Well, it's actually kind of funny because when we were rehearsing it a little earlier, behind my computer screen, I have a picture of my brother. And when we were rehearsing, I looked up and I'm like, nope, I can't do that during the podcast, because when I looked at him and saw it and was singing to his face, I'm like, can't do that. So during the podcast or during this, I was like closing my eyes a lot more so than I normally would, because I didn't want to look at the picture, because yes, it does. I've learned to try to turn the pain into purpose. And sing through it, but sometimes those emotions just creep in. So I was trying to avoid that.
It was beautiful. And so if you've ever experienced someone close to you who has left the world by those means, it's overwhelming. And I'm not sure it's a pain that you ever completely forget.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for the tribute to him and to be able to get through that. It's a big deal. And lots of people, we do a lot of suicide prevention and awareness on the show. I'm a big proponent of getting that out there. And so I know that you touched people with that. It was beautiful. All right, what are you doing next? Tell me.
All right, the second one is called Warrior in Me. This is the title track off my new album, Warrior in Me, which was released in November of 2020. And I am just so excited about this whole project. Please, if you haven't, stream it, listen to it, buy it.
Preferably buy it.
Preferably buy it, yes.
Buy it, people. We're going to push that later.
Yeah. And this is just about finding the warrior within. I wrote this with my good buddy, Keith Ridenauer. I call him Swampy. So my good buddy, Swampy, we wrote this down in Florida, and it was recorded and produced by a Grammy award-winning musician, Nate Cornell. He worked with For King and Country, so that was super cool to work with him on this project. And he just is brilliant. He brought my vision to life and my artistry to life, and I am so excited about this song and this project. But the real meaning behind this song is to find the warrior within. For me, it's the Holy Spirit dwelling within me, but for some people it might be an inner confidence or just a strength or a power they didn't know they have. So I just encourage people to find that within themselves. So this is Warrior in Me.
Amen.
Sit here lonely, hoping for some peace. I'm digging deeper to find the power in me. You fill me up with courage to face my fears. You give me strength when I am weak. If I embrace all that I'm meant to be, I will find the warrior in me. Feel the sunshine when I think of you. I hold my head high, thankful for all you do. Fill me up with courage to face my fears. You give me strength when I am weak. If I embrace all that I'm meant to be, I will fight. I will fight. The warrior in me. I'm a fighter, a believer, and I can finally see the warrior in me. I'm gonna fight, fight, fight. I'm gonna fight, fight, fight. Warrior.
Oh my God. Hold on. I'm a little behind the times because I was moving. It's moving. This is why I take myself off. Nobody wants to see that. I love that song too. Wow. You know what it was? It's so upbeat. You can't help but go, okay, I want to find the warrior in me. I don't know. I loved it. It was so good. Your harmonies are great. I love that too. That was so good. But the words, I always go back to the words. You can have a great song with amazing music and the words are empty. But you have both with that song. It's got great words and motivational, inspirational. And that's what you want, right? You're trying to get people to believe in themselves. And I absolutely love that. Whatever that means for them, whether it's the Holy Spirit or your personality or wherever you're at, finding that warrior in you is so cool. What a great song. I loved it.
Thank you.
Absolutely loved it. All right. So how do we find you both? I have BrianaDomenica.com and SarahTaylorYoung.com scrolling. Are those the best way to get in touch with you, find your music, download, buy, guys? We
want buy.
Music. This is how we support our artists. We buy it. Tell us.
For me, you can also catch me on Facebook and Instagram at Briana Domenica Music. And it's scrolling, so I'm not going to spell it. Normally I spell it because everyone spells it wrong.
It's scrolling. You're good.
So, Briana Domenica Music on Instagram and Facebook. See, iTunes. Go on iTunes and buy my stuff. That's like creeping in. So, and again, Briana Domenica on iTunes. You can purchase those singles if you like what you heard today. I hope you do.
And CDs.
And CDs, yes.
And CDs. Sarah, how about you? Is that right, Sarah Taylor?
You can find me on Instagram at @youngmusic. You can download my new music. I only have a new single out there right now, but you can find that on iTunes and anywhere where you listen to your music. And you can find my CD on SarahTaylorYoung.com, my website.
And big shout out, who introduced us? Was it Sherry?
Yes, Sherry.
We love Sherry. Big shout out to Sherry. I don't give her enough shout outs because she literally she's like, will you promote an artist? I'm like, anytime for you. She's amazing.
She is
you guys
the best.
Are so great. Briana Domenica, Sarah Taylor Young. Go to both their websites. They're streaming there. You guys, you don't understand how important it is to support our artists. All of our artists It's been a crazy, you've lived it.
Yes.
It's been a crazy year. And so the more that we can do to go out, spend the money, buy the music, and support them so they can continue to give their beautiful message to the world. Thank you both so much. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you again for having us, Ted. We so appreciate the support.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Briana Domenica, Sarah Taylor Young, you guys reach out, support our artists. We'll see you soon.